Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of this episode is updates only. Usually when we do updates only, it's just like a bunch of random, because we always do updates, but sometimes there's a theme and sometimes it's just random stories with updates. If you needed that explanation, you probably didn't, but let's get into it. The title of the first story is my husband's childhood best friend asked me for a favor and then humiliated me in front of her family. I'm done being the bigger person. I've been sitting on this for a few days, trying to decide if I'm just being dramatic or if I've been letting too much slide for too long. So I, 30 female, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31 male, is honestly a gem. Kind, patient, hilarious, loyal, basically everything you would want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. That relationship wrecked me for a while, but I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And thankfully, my husband's never given me a reason to question him. Until now, maybe. I don't know. My husband and I have a really great relationship, and we're pretty social and we hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his group, and they've honestly made me feel welcome, except for her. His childhood best friend, let's call her Claire. Claire has always been cold to me. Not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know that kind of vibe? Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me, not to me. I tried. I really did. I've smiled, made conversation, been nothing but warm, even when she's given me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts, but she'll invite him over, and he always tells me, to his credit, he never goes without mentioning it, and he's never weird or secretive about her, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried being friendly. I've tried small talk. Hell, I invited her to our birthdays, barbecues, engagement dinner. She bailed on all of them. She skipped our wedding too, and she only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's just been dumped and needs to talk. When I brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it, that Claire is just a little odd socially. Maybe she is. Then a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I'd model for her project. Totally unexpected, and I was caught off guard enough to say yes. Part of me thought, maybe this is her trying to connect. Maybe this was her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive. So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her in a while, and I thought it would be fun to catch up after. When we got there, her family was also involved. And from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive Twilight Zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. I laugh, awkwardly. Think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot came more of the snarky comments. Jokes about, quote, the one that got away, and, quote, some bonds never fade. Her mom at one point literally said, we always thought Claire would end up with him. But life has its detours, I guess. And Claire always imagined walking down the aisle with him. And then, it's sweet of her to fill in, though. Oh, come on. I wish I was exaggerating. And Claire, she just kept snapping pictures, smiling, saying nothing. No, hey, cut it out. No awkward laugh. No redirect. Nothing. My husband was clearly uncomfortable. I watched him fidget through the entire thing. Clear his throat a few times. He tried to change his subject or came nearby me during the shooting. He didn't say much either. He just went kind of quiet. I stuck it out for an hour, let her take her photos, smiled, posed, whatever. But the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he was silent for a while and then finally said, sorry about all that. That was weird, right? And honestly, I didn't even know what to say because, yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. And the fact that he was there, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug, it makes me feel kind of alone in this. I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless or just awkward. She knows exactly what she's doing. I don't want to start a huge fight, but I'm at the point where I don't want her in our lives. Not as a friend, not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage. No more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I'm not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway, thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really needed to get this out. Edit. Sorry guys, English is not my first language or even second language. Sometimes it's harder to get my points and feelings across. Just to clarify a few things people were asking about. Claire is actually a photography major, and this shoot was part of her final project. I'm not a professional model or anything, but I've done some hobby modeling here and there. So when she asked if I would help out, I thought it was a casual favor. Why was it at her house? She comes from a wealthy family and has a fully set up photo studio in their house, which is why the shoot happened there instead of at a regular studio. I honestly thought it would just be her and the camera, not a full audience with drinks and commentary. Additional background, I grew up in a pretty emotionally abusive household, so I think I've gotten too used to passive aggressive comments and I just sort of freezed up. Maybe that's why I didn't react more in the moment. But yeah, it definitely hit harder after the fact. I will update you as soon as possible. Thank you for all of your comments. I feel like she only invited her to that because she wanted to talk down to her or wanted to make her feel like shit in some way. And like her family being in on all of that is so crazy. I mean, I guess like she wasn't really doing anything. She said that she's rude to her, which is obviously a huge red flag. But I'm confused why she would even ask this girl to be the model. That's why I almost feel like it was a setup. It was like, hey, so she's coming over and I want you guys to be here so that you guys can like humiliate her and make her think that her husband's in love with me. I'm just confused. Like, why did she ask her when she's literally rude to her and tries, like, never speaks to her? And then I'm also confused, and I'm not saying that it's OP's fault, but I'm just confused why OP would agree to that and why she would want to do that. I feel like I would just be so uncomfortable if I knew someone didn't like me and I knew that like this girl's constantly always hanging out with my husband, which it's also weird that her husband is hanging out with her knowing full well how she treats his own wife. Like, that's weird to me. I feel like if you have a friend that treats your significant other like shit, you don't go and hang out with them one-on-one. Like, okay, whatever, if they happen to come to group events, yeah, be friendly with them, keep being friends with them, but I feel like you're just being like, okay, yeah, sure, it's fine if you treat my wife like shit. I'll just hang out with you one-on-one so you don't have to like deal with my wife and you don't have to worry about treating her like shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, the husband's kind of annoying for this as well. Okay, some of the relevant comments. Someone said, borderline disrespectful. I'd hate to see what you think is actually disrespectful. OP said, wow, reading your comment and honestly so many others has really helped to see how not okay that whole situation was. I think I was so used to brushing off this kind of behavior that I didn't even realize how deeply disrespected I was. I grew up in an emotionally abusive household where snide comments and passive aggression were just part of the background noise. So when someone pulls that kind of crap now, I think a part of me actually minimizes it. Like, oh, I've heard worse. But reading all of your reactions kind of snapped me out of that. And yeah, it hurts that my husband didn't shut it down. I've been trying to rationalize it in my head, like maybe he didn't want to escalate things because it felt like a trap, or that he's not used to being in these kind of situations. None of that excuses it though, not even a little. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. Really talk. Not just brush it off, not laugh it away. Just lay it all out. Because at this point, I need to know where he stands. Thanks for the reality check. I needed it more than I realized. Yeah. Hate to say that you did, girl, but I'm glad you actually took in the comments, and I'm glad the comments were correct and not rude. Update April 23rd, 2025. First off, holy crap, I did not expect that post to blow up like it did. Thank you everyone who commented. So, on for the update. For those wondering, no, they never dated. He had a high school crush on her over a decade ago. That's ancient history. No, I don't think he's ever cheated emotionally or physically. He's always very open and honest. We have each other's passwords. They barely see each other anymore in person, maybe once every few months. We live about 2 hours away. Funny enough, I didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to my husband before something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Anyway, I was still trying to process what happened and sort through my anger towards Claire, and honestly, towards my husband too. That's when I got a message from my sister-in-law. We'll call her Madeline. I'm really close with Madeline. She's also part of the wider social circle that Claire floats around in. They're friendly, but not close. She sent me a screen recording from Claire's close friend's story with a simple quote, WTF, and it was a clip of me posing during the shoot. No music. But in the background, you can clearly hear Claire's sister say, quote, Claire should have been the one to marry him. I lost it. I waited until my husband got home from work, sat him down, and showed him the video. He watched it once, then again. His whole face changed, and he finally looked pissed. I could not help but think, why didn't he have the same reaction there? So I laid it all out. I told him everything. Every snide comment, every time Claire made me feel small, how I'd always try to be civil, how I never asked him to choose between us, but I was done being polite while someone consistently disrespected me. I told him, if this doesn't bother you enough to act, we've got a bigger problem. I'm not going to be in a marriage where I have to beg to be defended. I need a partner who stands up for me. And if that's not you, then I need to rethink this. He didn't argue. He didn't get defensive, and I know he feels sorry. And then I showed him the Reddit post. He tried to read every comment. Some of them made him tear up. When he finished, he looked at me and said that he feels like the worst husband. He let this happen right in front of him. He is so sorry. And asked me, what do you need from me now? I told him straight up that this isn't about her anymore. It's about whether or not you're willing to protect this marriage. But I'm not going to feel like I'm second place in my own relationship. So it's either me or her. So we called Claire. She picked up all cheerfully, acting like nothing happened. We brought up the video and she immediately got defensive. Oh, come on. It was just a joke. Are you really mad over that? She said. Seriously? And that's when he stepped in. Quote, this isn't just about the video. It's the constant disrespect toward my wife. I didn't say anything before because I didn't want to lose your friendship, and I convinced myself you didn't mean it. But what happened at that shoe? That was disgusting. My wife came to support you, and you and your family treated her like a joke. I didn't speak up then, and I'm ashamed of that. But that ends now. I don't even know why I held on to this friendship for so long. If you can't respect my wife, you don't respect me. She laughed, literally laughed, and said, wow, you're really cutting me off over that, girl? Oh my God, I was ready to fight. But my husband calmed me down and said to Claire, if choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her. We're not kids anymore. You need to grow up. I simply don't want to be your friend anymore, and I have nothing else to say. Telling you, he can be a gem sometimes. But yeah, we blocked her and her entire family. And since then, he's been checking in with me. Not trying to fix things, just to show up. Listening, understanding, he finally sees what I've been dealing with. We've still got some healing to do, but now I know where he stands, and that changes everything for me.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
Oh my God. Well, thank God he finally realized. It's just like, and I know I don't want to be a little nitpicky little biatch, but it really bothers me that you have to be told and given an ultimatum, like it's me or her, for you to stick up for your own wife, knowing damn well like this girl's treating her like shit. That's just confusing to me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to give him credit because obviously he did end up sticking up for her, but at the same time I'm like, why did she have to hold your hand through that? Why did she have to hold your hand? Like, if you're a good husband, you should have known and you should have taken action far before it got this bad. But there's a new update, and it's a short update. It's July 24th, 2025. Hi again. I wasn't going to post a third time, but a bunch of people kept asking for an update, so I figured I would just close this out. Also, oh my God, I didn't expect my original post to get so much attention. My husband actually read the second post too. Yeah, after seeing it all written out and reading the comments, which surprised him that people were still curious. But maybe that was a good thing. Anyways, the update itself isn't dramatic. After that last call, we blocked Claire and her whole family. And that was it. No follow-up, no weird texts, no fake apology, nothing. Just silence. And honestly, that silence was kind of the best thing she ever gave me. My husband's been great, not doing too much or trying to overcompensate, just steady. He finally sees how much I was putting up with. He's been more protective in a real way and not just in words. He owns how passive-aggressive he was before. It doesn't feel like we've been trying to move on. It just feels like we're on the same page now. I think the biggest shift is internal. I'm not second-guessing myself as much. I'm not trying to win people over who've already decided not to see me. I feel a lot more grounded. And it's because I finally spoke up instead of brushing things off. So yeah, not much drama, but a lot of clarity. Thanks to everyone who commented or messaged or just listened. I'm probably going to delete this account soon, but this thread honestly helped me more than I can explain. For anyone else dealing with subtle disrespect that makes you question your own gut, you're definitely not imagining it, you're not being dramatic, and you don't have to keep being the bigger person just to say nice. Thanks. I'm so glad there was. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that ended the way that it did. I'm glad that she, figured everything out. And I'm really glad that her husband is shaping up a little and not being a little, I don't know, people pleaser, I guess. I don't know. I just know that I would never accept friends into my life that were disrespectful to my partner because we just wouldn't get along. Like, I wouldn't even have to force myself to not want to be friends with them anymore. I just wouldn't want to be friends with them anymore because my boyfriend actually is so nice, and I always say this in every episode, but if anyone was ever mean to him, like, that would be crazy to me. I would actually, I would go feral. The top comment says, the no dramatic update is the best kind of update. So happy for OOP. Me too. I'm so happy that ended in a nice way because we rarely ever get the happy endings. So it's nice to have once in a while. We're going to move on to the next story. And the title is, I, 28 female, tested positive for an STD and I can't find any evidence of my husband, 29 male, cheating. I'm coming to all of you in need of advice on how to handle this situation. I feel like I'm in complete shock and I can't think straight. Any advice on how to proceed in this situation would be greatly appreciated. Some background, my husband and I are high school sweethearts. We've been together since 2012 and have been married for 6 years and we have a 2-year-old. The timeline, January. I got off birth control so we could get pregnant. This was a mutual decision. February, I got a severe UTI, got treated and symptoms improved. Doctor's office cultured my urine and confirmed the antibiotics would treat it. March, I got another severe UTI. I visited the same doctor's office and they said it probably hadn't cleared up and gave me the same antibiotics. May, had my yearly OBGYN appointment and mentioned that I had a bad UTI previously. OB said to come back to her if it came back. Well, it came back, but they didn't have nurses doing urine analysis that week. I don't know why. So she prescribed me a different type of antibiotic and said to come in if I have any issues. June. Got a severe UTI again. I go to the doctor, they do a urine analysis and cultured it, but nothing grew. I was referred to a urogyno doctor. I go to the urogyno doctor and my urine culture comes back normal. After speaking with my mom, she suggests going back to the OBGYN to get tested for STDs. At this point, I'm desperate to get any answers. Monday, July 14th, I got a panel done and I found out July 17th, I tested negative for everything but trick. I've been faithful to my husband and the thought of cheating on him is repulsive. But here is the confusing part. I confronted him and he is persistently saying he has never cheated on me. I kept calling him a liar and pushed him to tell me who it was. I kept reminding him that I have an STD only transmitted by sexual acts and that I have been faithful. I went through his phone. I checked all of his apps, previously downloaded and currently downloaded, nothing. I went through his Facebook Messenger, nothing. I went through his Snapchat, nothing. I went through his Instagram messages, call logs, car, credit card statements, nothing. He gave me his phone and said he would do anything to prove he hasn't been unfaithful. I'm completely stumped. We share our locations, and his significant location there was nothing suspicious. Now what? I have no idea. First of all, I don't know how you can transmit. What? I was going to say transmit. I don't know how you can contract. Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Let me know. Anyways, I don't know how you can contract an STD other than from a sexual partner. Maybe a hot tub? I don't know, girl. I actually have no idea. Maybe I don't know. I've always been deathly afraid of getting an STD. But I guess that's an STI, right? Because it goes away with medicine. Because I've had a couple people close to me that have had trick before. But I'm pretty sure it's just is it not just chlamydia pretty much? That's what I have known. But I don't know. That's crazy. I feel like the one thing that would really help solve this is him getting an STD check. Unless he already did and he got it like taken care of and then he comes back as negative and then it's like, wait. But the thing is, I feel like if that were me and my boyfriend was like, hey, I have an STD, you cheated on me and I didn't cheat on him, I would be like, no, you fucking cheated on me because I didn't cheat on you. So that means the only possible way for you to get that is for you to cheat on me. And you're just throwing it back on me, acting like I cheated on you when I didn't, and I don't have that STD, so you definitely cheated on me, you know? So I'm really confused why he's not accusing her of cheating. Causes of trichomonomas, I never know how to pronounce it, trichomonas, is spread through sexual contact with an infected person. It can be transmitted during vaginal, anal, or oral. It does not spread through shared toilets, towels, or swimming pools. Okay, so hot tub, out of the question. I always felt like when I was younger, oh my God, actually, sorry, this is so off topic, but when I was younger, I used to be so scared to swim in public pools because for some reason I heard from someone that some girl got pregnant because someone ejaculated in the pool and then the sperm swam up their coochie. And so when I was in like 5th grade and I would go to public pools, I would always be so scared. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm scared I'm going to get pregnant. I wasn't even on my period, but I didn't have my period until 8th grade. I was like, I'm going to get pregnant because someone is going to sperm in this pool and then the sperm's going to swim up my coochie. That's insane of me. That's why sex ed is important, guys. Okay, well, I'm interested to see what the update is. I'm like, I want to figure it out without reading the update, but we will figure it out. Okay. Update. Friday, I called my OB's office and asked if there was any other way I could have gotten it, and the nurse told me no, it's only transmitted sexually. I then asked her when the last time I was tested for STDs, and she told me in December of 2022, and I was negative for everything. I didn't have anything. Because of this conversation, I assumed she knew I was talking about Trick because I asked about it before I asked for my labs. Also, why would she not tell me Trick wasn't included if that's what we were discussing beforehand? Later Friday, we called my aunt, who is a nurse that works in the same hospital, and asked her, and she said she didn't think Trick was tested for in pregnancy. She had to manually pull up my labs from 2023 and found Trick was not tested for. Friday afternoon, we also got both tested for it again and expect labs to be back Monday or Tuesday. I don't think my husband has cheated, and I haven't cheated. I also let him go through my phone, /cards, etc. because that's only fair. I have apologized to him for jumping his shit. I also have to look at it from his side as well. He knows he hasn't been unfaithful, and then I all of a sudden have an STD. We're going to start couples therapy soon, and we're going to bring my child to the pediatrician to get tested for Trick, as we have taken many baths together. If you would have asked me any day before Thursday if my husband would cheat on me, I would tell 100% no, without a doubt. We are solid. Well, you can't get, I don't know, but I just looked it up on Google, so I'm a doctor now, and I don't think your kid will have it because baths, I don't think you can contract it. I don't know, maybe you can. Someone said you need to post in a medical sub. Trick can be asymptomatic in men and women for years. Although not very common, it is possible that you guys have had Trick for years and not have shown any symptoms since you stopped using birth control. Your pH changed, and this may have triggered the outbreak of symptoms now. In any case, make sure both you and your partner get fully treated. Stop. I don't think I can read these anymore. Whenever I read stuff like this, it makes me think that I probably have an STD that I don't know about, even though I've gotten tested before. I always get scared because I'm like, what do you mean they can lay dormant for years and I could just randomly have an STD? Don't say that. Don't say that. Okay, anyways. Okay. OOP's comment. He is going to go today to the doctor to get tested. What are the odds of it being transmitted non-sexually? He deals with people's dirty clothes, restaurant towels, aprons, floor mats, bathroom soap dispensers, toilet paper dispensers, etc. Someone said, I am a high school teacher and am not the only one who contracted Trick from the bathrooms at my school. That's how we found out multiple teens were meeting in the bathroom to hook up all at once. OOP said, WTF, I'm a high school teacher. Wait, I'm scared. I thought Google really said that you couldn't get it from toilets or baths or swimming pools. Hello? Google? I have a bone to pick. Okay, final update. This is the tiniest update you'll ever see. 3 days after the initial post. We both went and got our urine tested Friday, and we both tested negative for trick. We are still going to get rechecked with urine, swab, and blood to be sure we don't have it. So why in the world did these nurses say that you had it then? Because that causes a big little skirmuffle. What is the word I'm wanting to use? That causes a big skirmuffle. I don't know. That's the word that I wanted to use just now, but I don't know if that's the right word. It's definitely not a word. Why am I acting like that's a fucking word? Is it a word? Not me looking up skirmuffle. Well, there is a word called scruffle, but I still want it to be skirmuffle. So, unfortunately, that is the word I'm sticking with. Okay, top comment. So I went to the ER with a swollen testicle that was increasing in pain. The nurse was nice to me until they came back with the diagnosis that she said could only be caused by an STI. I asked which one I had, and she told me I had to wait for the results and kicked me out in disgust. My girlfriend and I had been exclusive for a year, so I had a very awkward conversation asking if she cheated on me, which she denied, and then the results came back negative. I looked up the diagnosis, and one of the causes was a vasectomy, which I told the ER I recently had. F that nurse. Yeah, F that nurse. That should be medical malpractice, to be honest, because tell me why you would ever, or what, like discrimination or something, medical discrimination, because why are you going to kick them out in disgust? You've never seen someone with an STI before. Like if you did have an STI, okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah, of course you should be practicing safer sex and you should be getting checked more regularly, but still, like, it's not that hard to contract STIs or STDs. I've known so many people with STIs and STDs, and I know someone that literally got herpes after only she lost her virginity, and then one time, one guy, one person, she had herpes after that. So like it's really not that hard to get an STD. Don't be disgusted, you little bitch. You little rude bitch. But we're going to move on. I'm glad that ended in a happy... Guys, we have 2 happy endings today. But imagine she updates in like a couple days and she's like, just kidding. He's a cheating piece of shit. That's what I expect every time. Okay, let's read this next story. My 31 female husband, 33 male, of 4 years has a weird relationship with his pregnant coworker, 23 female. I'm not sure if I should be worried or not. I'm scared about this one. My husband has worked with Kelsey for the last 2 years, and I never thought anything about the relationship was strange until now. For the past 5 months, the amount of time that has lapsed since my husband found out that Kelsey was pregnant, he has gone out of his way to support her in a way that makes me uncomfortable. I might be able to understand his actions if they weren't so extreme, but they mostly strike me as downright strange and out of character for him. For one, when he found out she was pregnant, he came to me and asked if he could give her $1,000 to help her with some of her expenses. He said that Kelsey's baby's father was out of the picture, and she was struggling. I don't know Kelsey personally, but I can sympathize with her situation. I agreed to let him write her a check for $250. I did think this was odd, though, because my husband has never been all that charitable. I've never known him to be the type of person that goes out of his way to help a coworker or a stranger. But whatever. A few weeks later, my husband came to me and asked again if we could help Kelsey out. This time, he wanted to buy a pram for Kelsey. The one he had picked out was quite expensive, so I wasn't comfortable with just giving him the okay. We spent about a week discussing it before we finally agreed to purchase a cheap one for her. This came after he asked her if the second one would be okay. I took this opportunity to ask him how much more money he wanted to spend on Kelsey and her baby. We'd already spent $500 on them at this point, and I was starting to get concerned. We had a fight about this where he accused me of being selfish. He said that he was trying to do a good deed for someone, and he thought I would be happy to support a young mother-to-be like Kelsey and her baby. I did feel a little guilty afterwards, so I backed off. Fast forward to last week. I found out after the fact that my husband had bought a $150 gift card to Babies R Us for Kelsey as a Christmas present. We had another fight about how much money he's spending on her and her baby. And again, he accused me of being stingy. I asked him how much more he planned to spend, and he told me that he didn't know. I asked him if he could see how this situation would make me uncomfortable and how it might lead me to think something was going on between them. He said that he was disappointed that I would think this good deed was anything other than him trying to help a coworker. He has been giving me the silent treatment since that fight and making passive-aggressive comments, which is frustrating. I can't get him to understand that my concerns are legitimate. Besides, it's not like we have the ability to keep spending this kind of money on Kelsey. In addition to spending some money, my husband also has spent a lot of time helping Kelsey in other ways. He spent time fixing up things around her apartment before the baby comes and doing other odd jobs for her. All of this makes me extremely uncomfortable. But anytime I bring it up, he accuses me of trying to stop him from helping someone in need of assistance or being greedy. He won't acknowledge what I think is very worrisome behavior. At this point, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. I think he really is trying to do a good deed, but part of me worries that something else is happening. I don't want to believe he would cheat on me. He's never given me a reason to suspect this, but I can't help but wonder sometimes, especially when he's gone with Kelsey to her OBGYN appointment on 2 occasions, though he claimed it was because she needed a ride. Does he have a point? Am I being selfish for hassling him over helping Kelsey? How should I try to get him to understand his behavior is making me uncomfortable? I'm not sure how I should handle this situation. Nothing seems to be working. Okay, so if your husband was like more of a, he was like that, if that was like in his personality and he's always doing good deeds and he's always trying to help people out and trying to give away money to charitable causes, then I'd be like, oh, girl, you got yourself a winner. But the fact that this man is clearly the father, he is the father. Like, you are the father. Don't even lie to me. Tell me why in the hell you would be going to OBGYN fucking... How does she get to work? Why doesn't she have a ride to the OBGYN? I mean, I understand, like, if he really was doing this to be a nice person, all power to you. I'm all about, like, being charitable and being a good person and, showing people that good people do exist in the world. But this specific scenario, especially this being the first time he's ever exhibited any behavior like this, it's giving Jerry Springer. You are the father. Absolutely. Relevant comments. Sounds like she's pregnant with his child, to be honest. OP said, it does seem like that could be true. The only thing is, he's never given me any reason to suspect him of cheating. No late nights at work, no business trips, no other odd behavior. Yeah, that's because he's playing right in your face. He's fucking on you right in your face. You're saying he's doing all this stuff. He's hanging out with this girl. He's spending so much time with her. He's going to her apartment to fix all these things. He's taking her to OBGYN appointments. That is all odd behavior. He doesn't need to stay late at work for him to be cheating because you are literally just letting him play in your face. No, I don't want to blame her. That's fucked up. I support the woman. Okay, obviously it's his fault. He's the one. I don't even know if he's cheating yet, but it's pretty clear to me that he is. I don't want to blame the woman. Like, seriously, girl? Who am I at this point? It does bother me that she has these rose-colored glasses on and she's saying, like, he's never given me any reason to suspect that he's cheating when she's listing all these reasons to suspect that he's cheating. He's buying this girl a pram. He's taking her to OBGYN. He's going over to her house to fix things. Like, you know what I mean? That's all suspicious, odd behavior. Yeah. All right. This is the update, and this is the only update. So I really hope that it's going to give a good explanation. Since many of you asked for an update and you were kind enough to offer advice, I've decided to give one. The first thing I did after making my initial post was to confront my husband directly again. I asked him point blank if he was so involved with Kelsey's pregnancy because he was the father of her child. He denied it. I then asked him to introduce me to Kelsey since he had given her money that belonged to both of us. When I mentioned this, he got very defensive and accused me of being insecure. I responded by saying that I at least had the right to know the person I was helping and that he shouldn't have a problem with me meeting Kelsey if nothing was going on between them. He then told me that he wasn't going to introduce us and that I needed to work on my jealousy issues. I decided to contact Kelsey the next day. I found her, or at least the woman I thought was her, through a mutual friend's Facebook page. I sent her a message telling her who I was. I explained to her why I was concerned about her relationship with my husband and requested that she please let me know if she was having my husband's baby. She sent me a very nasty message back. I will spare you many of the details. The basic gist was I was old and unattractive and unable to satisfy my husband, so he found someone better, i.e. Kelsey. Among other things, she claimed that the baby was my husband's and that he was planning to leave me but felt sorry for me and couldn't bring himself to do it. She ended the message by telling me that I should let him go so they could be together. It hurt a lot to read that message, and it still hurts me to think about it. I confronted my husband that same night. I showed him the message. He got really quiet and admitted that she was telling the truth, but denied telling her all of those horrible things she said about me. He said getting her pregnant, was a mistake and was only trying to do the right thing by her and the baby. He denied that they were still sleeping together and said he wanted to stay with me and have a baby with me. I have no idea if either of those things are true. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Everything has happened so fast. A couple of days have passed now, and I'm still thinking things over. He wants us to go to counseling to try to work past this. But I don't think I'm interested in working on our marriage. It would be hard for me to get past this if he had cheated. But the fact that he may be having a child with this woman makes it harder. If I stay with him, she's always going to be in our lives. I have thought about waiting until we can do a paternity test to make a final decision, but I don't know if I want to do that either. It may be easier if I just make the change now. I've started looking for divorce attorneys. Most of my family and friends have told me I need to get out of this marriage, and each day I get closer to making that move. I just need a bit more time before I'm ready to make a decision. Please leave that man. Because he only told you because you went out of your way to find this girl and message her, and he didn't want to even tell you. He would have gaslit you into the oblivion. He would have gaslit you into another galaxy before even telling you. You're the one who had to go out of your way to go research this girl and get a shitty ass message from her, which also, it really pisses me off that, first of all, how can you cheat with someone that you know is in a relationship and or married? And second of all, how can you feel no guilt about that? Like, how can you not feel bad? And you're just straight up nasty and mean to the person that's being cheated on, to the person that's life you are destroying. That's wild to me. Like, cheating, like being an affair partner, I understand because you don't know. Like, well, not all the time, obviously. I'm saying being an affair partner that that doesn't know that you're an affair partner, if that makes sense. Like, being unaware of someone being in a relationship and hooking up with them is one thing. Obviously, hopefully, once you find out, you decide to end it with them and tell the significant other so that they are aware. But the fact that you knowingly are doing this, you're getting pregnant, you know about the wife, and you know that he was going to leave her, even though he definitely was just telling you that because he's a fuckwit. Ugh. Why do women have to be like that? Like, please, why? That is like the worst type of person ever. And I really, really love, like, obviously love women. I am a woman myself, coming from a woman. It really pisses me off when women do that because it's like, why are you fighting against other women when you are a woman and you can look at how that would make you feel and you know for a fact you would actually, that would be your 13th reason. So why would you do that to someone else? It's just crazy, the lack of empathy for me. And it's like, you're pregnant and you have that amount of lack of empathy that actually makes no fucking sense. But you have that. Yeah, I don't know how to word that, but you get what I mean, okay? Ugh. Seriously, like, come on. Women on women crime is just, honestly, it really, really pisses me off because let's just like let's get together and be a team together. Okay, the top comment says, using your wife to pay for your affair baby is probably beyond marriage counseling territory. Exactly. Using your wife to pay, and also under the guise of you just doing a good deed, and it's your baby the whole time, and you're never planning on telling her. I'm bemuffled. I'm bemuffled, truly. Well, I really wish only the best for this woman. Actually, you know what? This was in 2016. So let's hope that this woman got out of this situation. But she has not said anything since then. So, girl, I hope that you're out of that. No man is worth that kind of turmoil. No man. Trust me, if you're listening to this and you're like going through a situation like this, no man is worth it. No man is worth your self-confidence, your self-worth, your self-esteem. No man is worth you, honestly. No man like that is worth it at all. Like, no. Never accept that kind of situation. Because that is just, obviously, I can empathize, okay? I can empathize being in a relationship. I know it's not just that easy. I know it's not, like, I've been there, done that. Obviously not in this situation. This is just 200 times worse than any situation I've ever been through. But, like, I know how it feels to always want to get back and never actually take initiative to leave someone and just let them, like, fuck on you over and over again. I understand. And I feel bad because you are the victim in that situation 100%. And you're being literally emotionally abused and emotionally manipulated. So it's not your fault, obviously. I think we can all agree on that. But I just really wish that it was easier to, like, look at it when you're in that situation. Because obviously for me, it's easy to look at a situation like this and be like, girl, why would you be with that man? Like, why would you be with him? Get out of that relationship. But if I were in that relationship, or if I were in that relationship, I can't say what I would do because I've never been in that situation. And I can imagine being married for I don't know how many years. And dealing with a situation like this would be so hard to navigate through, on top of all the shitty feelings you would be feeling and the low self-worth you would be feeling. I can totally understand. But, I wish I could just hug this girl and be like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be so much better without a man like this dragging you down and actually being the worst. And honestly, like, let that man be that girl's problem. Because she so obviously wants that problem in her life. And obviously I don't wish that on anyone, but she wants it. She knows exactly what's happening. She's totally okay with it. And so if that is her prerogative, that is her prerogative. But you move on, girl. You find better. You be happier. And I promise you, you will be so much happier, even just single, than in a relationship with a man like this, with the scum like this. Anyways, that's all the stories we have for today. Thanks for coming to this episode of Storytime Society. I love you so much, and I hope you have the best day ever. Was that annoying? Like, sorry. Sometimes I'm like, you're fucking annoying, girl. Like, please. You're the best. I'm so grateful for you. Have the best day, night, morning ever in the actual world. Giving you all virtual kisses, okay? Just imagine I'm kissing you on the forehead if you want it consensually. Okay, anyways, love you. Bye.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.